My name is Makenna, and I am performing number 223 by Maria Crow. If you're not ready, please press pause. If you are ready, I will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am number 223 on the waiting list. My sister is number 224. I am above her because my aortic function is 0.009% worse than my sister's. It's only slightly worse, but our doctor thinks it could be significant. That is, if I make it that long. 223 seems a long way off. I'm the more realistic one. My twin sister, Nia, is the eternal optimist. Oh Shay, we're gonna do so good when this is all over. We're gonna have 2 strong hearts to go with our strong bond. She's right about that bond. When you're a twin, I think you do have a greater sense of closeness and compassion for your sibling. We have shared everything. We grew up sharing clothes, schools, and even the occasional boyfriend. Now we share a heart defect that will eventually kill us if we don't get a transplant. Today, there are over 127,734 persons in the United States that are waiting for a transplant. An estimated 2,500 transplants are done a year due to the generosity of over 1,200 donors. My prose reading explores the struggle and agony of waiting for a transplant. In the prose reading, number 223 by Maria Crow. I'm worried about the what ifs. What if we don't make it to the top of the list? What if we are wasting precious time? What if we never have that future? Our parents refuse to even discuss the possibility that we could die. I want to share some important thoughts, however. I don't want to just be left hanging at the end, wishing I had told people goodbye and let them know what they had meant to me. So I started keeping a journal of thoughts. So that way if something does happen, well, I'm covered. My sister, on the other hand, doesn't see things in the same way. She spends most of her days checking the internet for health updates and changes. She reads and always wants to play some sort of game. To pass the time, she says, but I don't want to play this game anymore. I want it to be over one way or another. This is no way to live. You can't risk being exposed to illnesses and germs, so you stay inside. You limit contact with people to limit contact with bacteria. I'm suffering from limits and loneliness. We weren't always this way. Around our 6th grade year, we knew something was wrong. Nina couldn't hold the high notes without running out of breath, and neither of us could make it down the soccer field without having to stop for air. My mom and dad felt like it was time for complete checkups. None of us were prepared for the verdict. We had the beginning stages of heart failure brought on by the conjunctivitis of the heart. No one is exactly sure what the origin was, but they were sure without a transplant, we would be dead within 2 years. Being identical twins means identical diagnosis and identical pain. My parents started the transplant process right away. Most of the medical facility here thinks our chances are good. They seem to think that in 6 months or so, we should be at the top of the list. They remind us that we can be moved up if our condition starts to deteriorate. That is comforting. Today, something really bad happened. My sister got moved to the top of the list. Her condition seemed to worsen overnight. She's hooked up to a ventilator and can't even talk to me. Her eyes show that she's scared. She asks for a pen and paper. She writes in big, bold letters, "Not without my sister." I smile and tell her not to be silly. The doctors are afraid the same thing will happen to me too. After all, we're identical. I moved up to number 2, right behind my sister. I moved into the hospital, partly to be with my sister, and partly to be called on a moment's notice. The beeper went off and told us that it was time. We were prepared and made transplant ready. I smiled at my sister, thinking for the first time that we might actually make it. I was so ready for her to be able to walk and talk to me again. As soon as she was taken into the next room, I saw her wave and give me a semi-thumbs up. Only a few minutes had passed, or so it seems. Then my father and mother came into my room and told me my sister didn't make it. They were crying and told me I would have to be strong and I would have to do this for my sister. Their eyes told me they could not bear to lose another child. I took their hands in mine and told them about the journal I had been keeping. I told them where to find it and to read it and share it with family and friends. I told them about the agony of waiting for this moment. And now it was here, I wanted to give that gift to someone else. I wanted to share this with someone that stood a good chance of making a full recovery. I tried to make them understand the words my sister had written spoke for the both of us, not without my sister. I reminded the nurses that with a living will, I could make this decision for myself. They had tears in their eyes as they began to unhook me. My parents will forgive me. I don't have long myself. They want these last few days to count. Deep down, I think they understand. My sister and I have never been apart our whole lives. We went home and I started a webpage for people on the transplant list and those that loved them. My first article is called Choices. Big or small, the choices we make affect our lives and those around us. Choose wisely. We know that is a good advice for all of us, on the list or not. Maybe this will convince people to be organ donors. Death is such a waste when life can be passed on and can turn a negative into a positive. I want to be an organ donor. Maybe my eyes can live on, or perhaps my skin can help a burn victim. My parents think it's a good idea. After all, I won't need them where I'm going. I hope my sister is there to meet me. I know my time is short. Soon my sister and I will be together and feel wonderful and whole again. And number 223 will finally be free. Thank you.